This is Joy News Prime.
From Nima to Golokwati and from Hohoi to Ekapim, we're bringing the world to your homes on the most comprehensive television news package in Ghana. My name is Israel. Like coming up, Supreme Court dismisses application for injunction against impending Ibuakwa North by-election without stating its reasons, but urges the Electoral Commission to work with the relevant stakeholders to resolve differences over the voters' register. Also in the courts, the Member of Parliament for the Klote constituency in Greater Accra, who is challenging the eligibility of Dr. Zaneto Rawlings as the NDC's candidate for his constituency, says he feels threatened by some unknown persons who have been trailing him. Speaker of Parliament cautions MPs about their conduct in the House.
And coming up in business, Minerals Commission set to regularize operations of illegal miners, popularly known as Galamsey operatives, from next month.
And with just some 3 months to the first anniversary of the June 3 flood and fire disasters, which claimed over 150 lives, it appears residents in some of the worst affected areas are still engaged in the practice that's likely to compound the situation. There's entertainment, sports, and Joy News Interactive, all in this bulletin, which is also available across Europe on ABN television on the Sky platform. Stay tuned. The Supreme Court has dismissed a case brought before it seeking to stop the Electoral Commission from conducting the Ibuakwa North by-election later this month. Former youth organizer of the People's National Convention, Abu Ramadan, wanted the election suspended until the determination of a substantive case in which the validity of the voters' register is being challenged. Though the court has deferred reasons for its ruling on Thursday, it says the EC should engage stakeholders on how to resolve problems identified with the current voters' roll.
Abu Ramadan wanted the Supreme Court to order a suspension of preparations towards the by-election at Ibuakwa North. That seat became vacant after murder of the Member of Parliament, Joseph Boachi Dankwedu, at his Shiashi home last month. The reason for the Supreme Court's dismissal was not immediately given by the 7-member panel of judges, presided over by Chief Justice Georgina Wood. The panel explained that it will give reasons for dismissing the substantive in the final ruling. But the Chief Justice and other members of the panel admonished the EC to engage more with relevant stakeholders in the election to ensure a more transparent process ahead of the November polls. Lawyer for Abu Ramadan has been explaining more on their contention.
In Ghana, if either of your parents or either of your grandparents is a Ghanaian, you're also a Ghanaian. So it has major implications for the country, both socially and economically, as well as in terms of complying with the Constitution. And so we felt that no, until this issue of the register is cleared up, and we know what the court says we should do about those who use the NHIS card to register, as well as even those who are deceased. With the Justice Crab Committee report says that almost 600,000 people would have died between 2012 and 2014, and that the implications for a credible vote election are quite dire. We're saying that until all of those issues are cleared up and we know what direction the Supreme Court is asking us to go, we ought not to conduct an election or a limited registration exercise, because you're only going to compound the problem.
Abu Ramadan in his application argued that it will be contemptuous for the Electoral Commission to conduct the by-election in Ibuakwa using the current voters' register, seeing he is challenging the credibility of the same register in court. He further stated that the public will suffer irreparable damage if the Electoral Commission is allowed to go ahead with the limited registration before the determination of his substantive case.
Now, the NDC Member of Parliament for Klote Koleni Amashite, who is in court challenging the eligibility of Dr. Zaneto Rawlings to represent the party in the November parliamentary elections, says he believes his life is in danger. According to his lawyer, Gary Nimakun, the MP has had to lodge a complaint with the police about being trailed by some unknown persons. Both Niyama Shite and his lawyer were not in court on Thursday for the eligibility hearing, but Mr. Nimakun had written to the court requesting that the case be adjourned whilst extra security arrangements are put in place to protect the MP and his family. The court subsequently adjourned hearing to March 9, 2016. Meanwhile, lawyer for Dr. Zaneto Rawlings has downplayed reports that his client is not a registered voter. The Electoral Commission in a letter had stated that the disputed parliamentary candidate is not on the voters' roll. The disclosure could prove fatal in Dr. Zaneto's quest to defend the eligibility claims against her, but her lawyer disagrees. Godwin Tamaklo also shared with Joy News details of the court proceedings.
We have always maintained that our client was duly vetted by the National Democratic Congress. She didn't vet herself. So as far as we are concerned, we have never put out anywhere issues about membership or registration. They are making the allegation. Let's see how it goes.
What happened in court today concerning this letter?
My learned friend wrote a letter asking for a quick adjournment. So in view of that, the motion slated for interlocutory injunction, we could not move it. And then, as you are aware, we have also filed a notice of appeal, appealing the interlocutory ruling by my lord. That ruling was supposed to come on tomorrow. And then we've also subsequently filed a stay of proceedings. Now, that stay was to come on tomorrow. But in view of this adjournment, we are having to come back on the 9th.
He says his life is under threat. Surprised by this issue that has come up?
If this thing comes up, it's so regrettable. As you are aware, like we call ourselves learned friends, we act on the instructions of people. So as and when an issue comes, we will basically come to court to dramatize. So I don't see why anybody should hold anything personal against Gary. I do not think that anybody associated with my client will engage in that. If anybody has that, he should desist from it because it is improper. Tomorrow it can be me being on the other side. What then becomes of the issues, yeah.
So you have reason to believe that it has anything to do with this current case?
I do not think so. As you also are aware, my learned friend Gary also happens to be the lawyer for Ninoy. Both, you know, political parties, MPP, NDC, there appears to be some issues in both parties. So you cannot be conclusive as where this allegation is coming from.
Possibly it could come from that side as well.
I'm saying that once the possibility exists, let's allow the security agencies to do their work.
This is certainly a delay. Are you concerned about this case dragging on?
As you're aware, my client, Dr. Zaneto Rawlings, even as at yesterday, she was at a meeting for all the parties, parliamentary aspirants of NDC in Greater Accra. She's fully participating. There is no hindrance whatsoever. So she's engaged in active campaigning. She has an election to win in November 7th. And now as we speak, her major opponent is out there in the person of lawyer Philip Addison. So she doesn't have enough time on her side. She needs to, so she's campaigning actively.
So a very quick but very important correction to the facts, and it is that it's the lawyer rather who feels that his life is in danger and not the MP. It is the lawyer, Gary Nimakun, who feels that his life is in danger. But moving on to other stories, the Roads and Highways Minister has conducted journalists around some road projects highlighted in President Mohammed's State of the Nation address, including the controversial Golokwati-Hohoi Road. Alhaji Nusuf Hussaini showed the journalists a 10-kilometer stretch which, according to officials, was completed in 2013, but there was another portion of the highway which was yet to be completed almost 3 years after the contract had been awarded. At Hohoi in the Volta region, one resident confronted the minister's delegation about the poor road network in the town, whilst another contractor was accosted for failing to execute the task assigned him by government.
The roads inspection covered works in the Hohoi township in the Volta region, among which is the controversial 10-kilometer Golokwati-Hohoi road. Contrary to assertions by a constituency chairman of the opposition New Patriotic Party that the said road has not been constructed, our checks revealed that the road has indeed been completed. According to the Volta Regional Director of Highways, E.D. Owusu, the 10-kilometer road was completed in 2013.
This road was awarded in 2012 to Messrs. First Car under the emergency projects, which comprise Metricasta Haveji and Havepandu.
Okay. But
those haven't been able to be completed, but this one was completed exactly a year after the contractor came to site. So since 2013, it has been completed.
You want to be more professional person.
After some minutes of ride on the controversial road, the Roads and Highways Minister Yunus Afuseni said the president could not have lied.
First of all, to establish the fact that nobody could have been wrong about this road. It starts from Glukwati and ends 10 kilometers for this way to be. But first of all, to establish that yes, 10 kilometers has been done. If you take it to Glee, it will be like work in progress, as the journalist who was at the JFM Journalist Act. It's still work in progress.
From the Hohoi-Golokwati Road, the next port of call was the main Hohoi Township. A number of the roads inspected were completed, with some at various stages of construction. However, there were several others that have been abandoned for years. One such abandoned road is a 4-kilometer stretch in the main Hohoi Township. The contractor working on the project, Guhet Construction Limited, won the contracts about 4 years ago, but has since, on the receipt of the initial payment for the commencement of work, has done very little to complete the road.
Take them to where the problems are. Take them to where the problems are. Don't come into the fullness here. You think this? No. What do you mean? This is not the road we are talking about. There are problems in town. Take them there. Don't just bring them here and think that you are finishing. There are problems in Hohoi town. There are roads in Hohoi township that you cannot drive on it.
The contractor, who did not appear bothered about breaching his part of the contract, explained that he used the first payment to settle debts.
Listen, you have a contract with the government of Ghana to construct the road. You abandoned site. Why did you abandon site?
Look, let me explain to you. Somebody mentioned that I collect the money, then I abandon the contract. I didn't collect any mobilization for this contract view. So if you want to say something, I'll give you the paper. Then you see everything. I didn't collect any money from the. Why you are disturbing?
Relocate the interview.
But the Roads and Highway Minister Yunus Afuseni said the contractor has questions to answer.
First of all, before a contract is awarded to a contractor, he must demonstrate capacity to do the work. That's why we certify contractors. If not, we would have just been giving people work. We would have asked them for more. So you need to know which class of certification he has, which class of contractor he is, to be able to give him work. Not so. That's the first requirement. And secondly, in the absence of mobilization, he needs to demonstrate a capacity to generate his first certificate for payments. And that's why we're going to meet him tomorrow in Accra. But he owes me every explanation. It's a contract. And I think that from my legal background, I think he has breached the terms of the contract.
So what exactly are you going to do? Are there any punitive actions that you're going to take against?
Well, that's why we are inviting him to Accra tomorrow.
He, however, conceded that his outfit is partly to blame for weak supervision given contractors like Guhet working on major projects across the country.
Well, Minister for Roads and Highways, Yunus Afuseni, has handed over the 2 Saint-Chi ferries to the Ministry of Transport to be dispatched to other parts of the Volta region. The ferries became redundant when the Adomi Bridge was reopened to traffic in December last year. However, months after the reopening of the bridge, the ferries were still docked on the Volta Lake. The move to put the ferries back to use follows a Joy News expose that the vessels were deteriorating after being abandoned on the lake.
The 2 ferries were commissioned on 10th March 2014 to support transport services across the Volta Lake during the refurbishment of the Adomi Bridge. About 2 months after the opening of the bridge, the vessels worth €10 million were still docked on the lake and risked permanent damage. A maritime expert who spoke to Joy News on condition of anonymity warned the ferries could collapse if they were left unnavigated for long. The Roads and Highways Ministry, which was managing the ferries, swiftly moved into action after the report to dispatch the ferries to Yeji and other parts of the Volta Lake as directed by the President to provide safe ferry services to the people.
The Ministry of Roads and Highways is officially handing over the 2 ferries to the Ministry of Transport to relocate them to provide ferry services on the Volta Lake at the locations directed by the President, to enable our people at these locations to also enjoy reliable water transport service across the Volta Lake.
After receiving the keys to the ferries, Transport Minister Fifi Kweti promised to ensure the ferries were put to work as soon as possible.
One of them definitely will be going to Yeji. We'll do a determination of where the second one will go very soon. But in terms of the timing, the firm involved, I mentioned their name, who are going to do the disassembly and assembly, have given us a period of about 6 to 8 weeks. So we are looking at maximum 2 months, hopefully, to be able to get it ready.
One thing that didn't happen today has to do with test cruising. Test cruising. I would expect that you run tests to see if the engine, everything is in place before you receive it.
No, but this ferry that really has worked over the last 2 years without any problems. So the most you can look at is to rather look at the maintenance culture in order to do a proper maintenance of it before it goes to the next level.
The minister gave contractors a 2-month deadline to dismantle and relocate the ferries for operations to start.
All right, you're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but we have more stories coming up thereafter. Please don't go away. Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Dr. Kwaku Mensah, is calling for stakeholder collaboration to preserve Ghana's water bodies. He says it is the only way to protect investment in providing potable water to the citizenry. Dr. Mensah identifies local assemblies, traditional authorities and security agencies among interest groups to spearhead such effort. A report by Ohiming Terrier.
Dr. Mensah has been inspecting works on the Konongo, Kumewu and Kwewu Ridge water supply project, which has become known as the 3Ks water supply project. The project involves the construction, rehabilitation and expansion of water supply schemes in the above-named towns. Intake pumping stations, new water treatment plants, storage reservoirs, transmission and distribution mains, and booster stations would also be constructed as part of the project, which is expected to be completed in October this year. The $236 million project will supply about 10 million gallons of water a day to over 90 communities. According to Dr. Mensah, destruction of water bodies through illegal mining threatens to undermine this investment.
The government is doing everything possible. But what are you doing? Metropolitan municipal assemblies, traditional authority, the young men and women. Here I've been told that the water upstream is always, there's diversion, pollution due to Galamsey activities. The question is, Galamsey cannot thrive without the connivance or tacit support of the local leadership. I'm therefore appealing to our assemblies, traditional authority, the police commander, the DCEs, the coordinating directors, the youth association, farmers association, to all get involved to preserve this resource. What happened at Sawam should be a wake-up call for all.
Meanwhile, Dr. Mensah has justified government's decision to invest heavily in the provision of water.
Water is life. That is why as a government we are committed to the provision of good drinking water to our people. And in fact, it is the aim of our President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, that by 2025 every Ghanaian should have access to good drinking water. That is why the government is spending a lot of money in the water infrastructure. But this 3 case is at a cost of $236 million. That's quite a lot of money. But because of the determination of our president that water is life, therefore we should do everything possible to provide water,
Now, today is World Hearing Day, and according to the World Health Organization, 5% of the world's population, that's about 360 million people, live with hearing loss. Unfortunately, 32 million of the number are children, with a vast majority of them living in low and middle income countries. In Africa, it is estimated that 4.5% of the entire population live with a disability. Sadly again, children represent 1.9% of this population. Uncontrolled noise represents a growing danger to the health and welfare of the nation's population, particularly in urban areas. The major sources of noise include transportation, vehicles and equipment, machinery, appliances and other products in commerce. The Ghana Environmental Protection Agency EPA Act of 1994, Act 490, mandates the EPA to prescribe standards and guidelines relating to the pollution of water, air, land, and noise in the country. But are they justifying this?
No hazards to us.
Radiologist is warning that the trend of right. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with those reports for you. So, hearing day story, uncontrolled noise represents a growing danger to the health and welfare of the nation's population, particularly in urban areas. The major sources of noise include transportation, vehicles and equipment, machinery, appliances and other products in commerce. The Ghana Environmental Protection Agency Act of 1994 mandates the EPA to prescribe standards and guidelines relating to the pollution of water, air, land and noise in the country. But are they regulating this? Joy News' Ifwa Evans Chinre has been speaking with a section of Ghanaians on noise making in some part of Accra.
Today is World Hearing Day, and I'm at the bus terminal here at Circle, a very noisy place. I'm here to find out from the people who are making these noises, why they're making such noises, and I'm here to find out from those affected by these noises. Why you play such loud music?
Because of the owner of the shop are doing some of the phone promotion. So that's why, like, you say, I should open the sound louder. Yeah.
So you're taking instructions from your boss?
I'm just taking instructions of the owner of the shop.
Actually, considering the situation in which I am now, the noise is affecting what I'm doing right now, because I was having a conversation with my friend. The noise is interrupting the conversation we are having. So if the level of the noise is down a little, it doesn't actually affect what we are talking about. It rather presents some form of entertainment whilst you are eating. But because of the level of the noise, it interrupts what we are discussing.
It's just to draw people's attention to what we are doing over here. But basically here, we don't make much noise at this place. But when you go out there, they just make the noise to draw people's attention, because that's what they do, and that's what they do for living. That's why the noise keeps going on.
The noise here is very bad. Sometimes you get a call, you can't pick up the call. The background is very noisy when you get a call. It's very bad.
The noise affects me in particular in the way that when you're passing, because of the noise, you can't really hear what the cars are really sounding, or if the car is coming, you can't really hear. So at times, if you are not careful, you end up being knocked by the car. Today is a very wonderful day, just like you said. Today he said hearing day or noise day. Whatever that is happening, it is a very, very, very bad environmental disorder, and it is a disruption to human hearing. The noise as it is not palatable to every human growth.
for we who are around the places where there is no so much noise, while it has been affected, it has affected people massively, especially in the area of hearing. When you go to a cool place, it will be as if say you are shouting at the top of your voice for you to hear what people are saying, because you have been in a very top noisy area. So it is not good, and it has to be reduced. Something has to be done by the government in order to reduce the noise, so that it will not be affecting people. It will not be making people to develop ear problems.
So that's the typical noise you're hearing from, the ambience you're hearing from the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Meanwhile, a radiologist is warning that the trend of noise pollution in Ghana is assuming alarming proportions. Jemima Finn has been speaking on the pause earlier, says if urgent measures are not taken, many more Ghanaians will soon have hearing problems.
Currently, we are worried as audiologists and hearing care professionals because aside the industrial noise, now we are making a lot of entertainment noise, personal noise and personal hazards to ourselves, because every time you see people walking around with earpieces and things in their ear.
I'm guilty.
Yeah. So now we are worried because for the future, people will turn out more with hearing problems. If somebody is wearing an earpiece and is walking by you or sitting by you and you can hear the sound from the ears, then it means it's too loud for that person. Okay. And depending on the number of hours of exposure or number of hours you wear the earpiece, then you are exposing your ear more to damage. Okay. And then we are not controlling noise in the environment. People are just having a small ceremony, you just mount big speakers, and the output is so loud and way into the night to disturb people. So it's causing hazard to those who are enjoying themselves and then to those who are not enjoying themselves.
Right, you're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break at this point. We review business after the break. Right, time now for business, and Emmanuel has joined me. Good evening to you, Emmanuel.
Hi, good evening.
I know you're here and you're eager to talk about Galamsey.
Of course, yes, one of those things in business today.
In business today, but there's also a program coming up tomorrow, which we'll be taking a look at Ghana's industrial sector as it is right now. And can you share with us a bit more about it?
Well, I think that we're celebrating or moving into the celebration of our 59th year. Car assembling industry was there, agro-processing and others. And especially when he created the Akosombo Dam, it was because of industrialization. But what have we done? 59 years down the line, look at where we are. Many industries, we cannot boast of our own manufacturing sector. Manufacturing contribution to GDP towards manufacturing has been declining for years.
So I believe tomorrow's discussion will be looking at all of that and seeing how we can advance the manufacturing sector.
Exactly, it should be, because yes, as a developed country or middle income country, we should be going towards industrialization, rapid development of industrialization. And it's unfortunate when we continue to import things every now and then, including toothpicks. I mean, it's interesting. Very interesting.
So do make a date for the show. It's tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Izzy. All right, so thank you for standing by for the business. And the Minerals Commission is finally set to regularize the operations of illegal miners, popularly called Galamsey operators, from next month. This is geared towards discouraging individuals from engaging in Galamsey while maximizing the economic benefits of mining.
The initiative is part of measures to address challenges posed by illegal mining activities and improve small-scale mining in the country. The Minerals Commission would, from the third week of March, engage all stakeholders in the mining sector for an effective implementation. It will then begin registering the illegal miners and organize them into cooperatives. The Chief Executive of the Commission, Dr. Tony Obin, explained further to Joy Business after an engagement with the media.
As part of implementing the policies, we will go round, in fact, starting from April, to register all small-scale miners, particularly the illegal miners, those who are working outside the fringes of outside the law. We are going to ensure that these groups are, brought under a cooperative arrangement where there will be proper structure to it. Now, they will be required by law to work on proper grounds. Initially, those who are working on areas where, we believe that they are not appropriate grounds, we will have negotiations with the concession owners, maybe carve some areas out for them, and they will work initially. We are not going to go there with guns. We are not going to go there with cutlasses. So this is something that those who are listening should understand, that the idea is to organize them.
He added the Commission is also working to reclassify small-scale mining to complement the regularization exercise to combat small-scale mining activities. We are reclassifying small-scale mining. We will reclassify small-scale mining. And the proposal here is to have one artisanal mining. One group will be called artisanal mining group, and that will be reserved again for only Ghanaians, and will have a land size of the 12.5 acres. The duration of their license will be up to 5 years. It will be renewable after expiry. The second category will be small-scale mining, the real small-scale mining, which will also be owned by Ghanaians only, and have land size that will be up to, it will be 25 acres. Now, the small-scale mining license will be up for 5 years, renewable after expiry. The third category, and this is a new one that we are going to introduce, and they will be subject to a lot of debate. We will call it medium-scale mining. This is a category that we don't have yet, but we're going to call it medium-scale mining.
Now, Barclays Bank Ghana is insisting that there would not be any job cuts in the country despite moves by Barclays UK to get out of Africa. Barclays PLC earlier this week confirmed that it is working to reduce its 62.3% stake in Africa. This has resulted in speculations that the action could result in some serious layoffs across the countries that Barclays operates. But speaking to Joy Business, Managing Director of Barclays Ghana, Patience Achianu, says there's no cause for alarm, insisting that customers' depositors are safe.
To sell down is not because of the performance of Africa or a change in the strategic direction. Indeed, Jess Staley, the CEO for Barclays PLC, commended the quality of the management team and staff of Barclays, as well as the success of our strategy so far. This decision resulted from new regulatory burdens that were imposed on Barclays PLC. And therefore, as part of a big group like Barclays Africa, which is well capitalized and highly liquid, there is no cause for our customers here in Ghana to be concerned about their deposits. We are also very liquid and regulated by Central Bank, which ensures that our business remains sound. Our future in Ghana is very bright, and our strategy remains unchanged. I'd like to assure all Ghanaians, especially our cherished customers, that in view of the announcement by PLC, nothing will change in our dealings with them. The Barclays Africa strategy is on course. This has not changed with the announcement. Barclays Ghana is a profitable, well-capitalized, highly liquid business. We need colleagues in Ghana to execute our strategy, and therefore this announcement will not lead to us letting go of our staff.
All right, now Tallow Oil has ruled out any immediate plans of cutting down its workforce following the recent decline in crude oil prices. The oil exploration firm last year laid off about 70 workers because of the fall in oil prices, which resulted in a loss of over $1 billion. The managing director of Tallow Oil Ghana, Charles Daku, has however allayed fears of workers who may be worried about another possible layoff because of the current challenges with oil prices.
we're not looking at that. But the situation changes. We don't know where the price is going to bottom out at the end of the year. If things become different, we would always reset our business model to suit the time. But at this point in time, we're not looking at that.
We've had Shell, we had other big firms laying off because of what is happening. And for some people, it's quite assuring that you're seeing that as we speak right now, nothing is on the table.
As any business, looking at efficiency, cost cutting, but we're not looking at, headcounts at this time.
And some are saying that the prices are even picking up. Is that something that you are excited by that?
We're, of course, thankful that the price is picking up. We are looking for more of an upturn in the prices, but we're ready for, any difficult time.
All right, so still in business, it's not time to go to the stock market. And as usual, John Amakun has joined us. John, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
What's up today?
A lot is happening in the sense that the stock market is actually losing, especially for Standard Chartered Bank. They posted some results that were, it wasn't the best for investors. And as such, they're actually voting. They say they vote with their shares, basically. That's exactly what it is. As Standard Chartered Bank lost some money on the market today. And almost all the equity, the three equity that moved the market today, all actually lost money today. That's exactly what is happening on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So therefore compelled the market to actually come down in terms of total market capitalization. And we also did see the market actually also coming down in terms of volume traded and value traded. But on the international market, basically, I told you yesterday that oil actually is on the ascendancy. Okay.
The prices?
The price is actually going up.
Okay.
The recovery rate is actually very high. Almost on daily basis, oil adds on $1 to its price. Exactly. So what's we discussed it here the last time when we actually checked that meeting between OPEC members and some non-OPEC members actually is yielding some results basically. To the market, and that is quite crucial. That's quite critical because as we speak, the number of outstanding barrels of oil that has been in the market for which demand almost always fell short of supply is now out of the system. So the market is actually stable now. So demand and supply actually regulating and dictating the pace of prices here. So that's exactly what it is. So today, crude is almost about 30. It's about 37.15 after adding 56 cents to it. That's quite significant. Yes. And then gold also added on almost about $17.05 to close at that. And then cocoa also added 10. So like I always say, it's the signals are that the global recovery rate is very high now. Okay. So all we are actually waiting for is for China to come to the party, and the entire equation will be complete. So let's hope March gives us some hope and the outlook, which is quite reliable, and investors could also depend on it.
All right.
And then there's something also here today. Almost always the CD loses to the dollar and gains against the British pound and the euro, and especially also the Chinese one. But today it is the other way around. The CD gained against the US dollar but lost to the British pound, the euro, and the Chinese one. So for tomorrow, if you really want one, all you need just to get yourself £1, 5 Ghana cedis, 55 pesos, and you get £1 for yourself.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that update, John Amakun, our stock analyst, and he ends tonight's business, which came to you live on Joy News. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafi. Keep watching.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. And members of Parliament have been warned to stay off passing unsavory comments on the floor of Parliament. The warning was issued by a boat Batungo during Parliament today. He warned MPs to refrain from misconducting and exhibiting unacceptable behavior on the floor of the House, which he deems unparliamentary. Still in Parliament, one of the issues debated on the floor was the issue of water and housing. There was a heated debate when Deputy Ranking Member on Works and Housing Committee of Parliament, Justice Joe Appiah, tried to discredit portions of the President's State of the Nation address. Deputy Water Resources and Housing Minister Samson Ahi and Deputy Labour Minister Baba Jamal were swift in setting the record straight on the floor of Parliament.
May I crave your indulgence to read from page 57 of the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. I read, Mr. Speaker. In the more remote parts of our country, the total lack of potable water meant that our citizens had to risk drinking water that likely carried waterborne diseases. Some of the water sources were shared with their cattle and other livestock. This situation had far-reaching ramifications for the general health and well-being of a large section of our people. Mr. Speaker, now let's get to the budget statement of the economic policy of Ghana government 2014 financial year. Mr. Speaker, under the government's 20,000 borehole project, 5 traces out of 115,150 boreholes drilled have been fitted. Mr. Speaker, it is only 3,000 boreholes that have been fitted and drilled. Now the 17,000 deficit, where will be completed?
What is your source?
The source is from the policy of the statement of Government of Ghana Financial 2014 statement this year.
It was to be done for a period. So it is not true that it was initiated in 2013 to be completed in 2014. It's not true. It is not true he left 5,000 as he is talking about. And Mr. Speaker, yes, they started the project in 2005 to have completed it in 2008. By the time they left office, they have done up to about 35% of the project. And so when we came, we have started. If you go to the Barima site today, by June, we will finish. So it's not as if we are not doing anything about the
Honorable member was quoting from a document. He was asked and he said that he doesn't have the original, but he has just the page. And for that matter, the speaker specifically mentioned that he has a problem with that particular document. That is different from another source where he's claiming that, and this is authentic, and in any case, the practice in this house is that if you have any doubt, I have been here for 3 years. I have been here for 3 years. I have been here for 3 years.
Order. Honorable member, address the chair.
I'm not here.
Honorable member, address the chair. Address the chair.
I haven't been here.
Let's have some order. Let's have some order.
And in fact, I'm active member of this house for 3 years. I know the practice of this house is that while you have doubts, the speaker has made the right ruling. He should lay the document. The document is to hold him. He should lay it. Once he lays it, if he is wrong or he is lying to this house, there are processes that he can go through. So why do we want to drag this debate back by always claiming that it's a compilation, it's compilation? I think, Mr. Speaker, I go by your directive. He should lay the document and let's proceed.
Health Minister Alex Segwefia was also in Parliament to respond to some health issues, including provision of ambulances to district hospitals.
The Ministry of Health has a strategic plan to expand the services of the National Ambulance Service to cover all district capitals in the country. The requirements and conditions to be fulfilled are as follows. 1. A 2-room office accommodation with dedicated telephone lines. 2. A crew room for the personnel with bunker beds. 3. A storeroom for medical consumables and other movable equipment. 4. An ambulance bay or garage for the parking of ambulances. 5. Washroom facilities. And finally, 6. Residential accommodation for the personnel to be posted to the district. When these requirements are met, a team from the region or headquarters is sent to inspect the facilities, and if they meet the criteria, the district will then be considered in the next expansion program.
We're taking a break. We'll bring you international news next. All right, so I'm joined now by my, I'll call it tweepna in crime. It's a phrase that I just coined, yeah. So
you just coined that?
I just coined that because you have a tweep, is like it Twitter person.
Okay.
So Tweepna.
Tweepna in
like a partner, yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
What's coming up?
Okay, so it's World Hearing Day today, and the day is celebrated every March 3rd to create awareness about the magnitude of hearing loss. So we went out to see what Ghanaians know about hearing impairment.
Seriously, to be honest, I don't really know anything about hearing effects.
It's a disorder that affects the ears, that results in the person not able to understand or hear what someone says. Maybe talking to someone, instead of the person, the distance, the person answering you, the person have difficulties in hearing.
We'll be sharing the troubling statistic from Kolebu about hearing impairment. And 2 police officers are being commended for going the extra mile. So these stories and more coming up on the interactive segment.
Okay, but I want to find out, were they successful in putting it up?
They'll have to watch the show to find out. Watch the show. So come back in about 35 minutes,
right, sure.
And we'll find out if they were successful and read some comments on that video as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. So as much as possible, what I'm looking forward to, I want to find out whether they were successful. I'm sure you were too. So just stay tuned. We'll be back with all that in a bit. You're watching Joy News Prime Time now for a quick run through our top stories. And the Supreme Court has dismissed an application for injunction against impending Buakwa North by-election without stating its reasons, but is urging the Electoral Commission to work with the relevant stakeholders to resolve the differences over the voters' register. Also in the courts, the lawyer for the Member of Parliament for the Korle constituency in Greater Accra, who is challenging the eligibility of Dr. Senator Rawlings as the NDC's candidate for his constituency, says he feels threatened by some unknown persons who have been trailing him. The Speaker of Parliament has cautioned MPs about their conduct in the House. In business, Minerals Commission set to regularize operations of illegal miners, popularly known as Galamsey operators, from next month. On to the Reservoir Stories, and it's just 3 months to the first anniversary of the June 3 flood and fire disaster, which claimed more than 150 lives in Accra. Several services in the capital were submerged, with residents who live along the banks of major drains, such as Nima and the Odo, severely affected. Francis Aban, who has been assessing what has been done to avert a similar tragedy, reports the people have not stopped doing that one thing that always compounds the flooding situation each time it rains: dumping of human waste into Accra's drains.
Things are reverting to their type once again. I'm talking about the big sanitation problem associated with the Nima main drain here. This site months ago was a sad one. Many losing their property to a major flood as a result of this drain really choked. It was cleared, the military came here, the president came here and asked that their attitudes change and that no more dumping of garbage into this drain. But today, the evidence is just before your eyes. The garbage is piling up in this main drain and the people here look as though they do not remember what happened months ago. Sule and Adam are motorbike mechanics who work along the drain. They deny pouring garbage into the drain, but say other residents have just decided to use the drain as their dumping site.
That one is a big problem for us. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a very, very big problem.
Who are the ones who've been dumping it?
Here, dear, we will say it's from the market. But here, dear, we gather ours here and give it to the people to send it to their container. When they sell or they sweep around their shops, they put it into the gutter.
That's a big one.
Actually, for we, the Zongo committee, it's hard and difficult. People want easy
to dump them at times. You see, they don't dump it daytime unless night. You sweep.
Even this morning when I came here, even this morning when I came here, I saw people dumping it in it.
You know, sometimes, you see, with lack of understanding and other things, you tell somebody not to do, the person claim that you hate him or something. You understand? So, you know, you should be there like that, because you are going to talk, the person will tell you that you are not sleeping there, that's not your room, or that's not your bedroom. So what for do? So government should know what to do about this thing.
And the problem here has repercussions. Mothers and their children continue to suffer from malaria and diseases associated with filth. Hajara explains.
Since the last time it rained, we don't allow people to put rubbish in the gutter. Anyone that comes around from other areas to dump refuse in the drain, I do not allow. What you see in the drain is from the main Nima township. I don't know if it is the MP or assemblyman for the area who gives the people the go-ahead to push the rubbish here. We also need to find people here to push the refuse from this side of the drain to Asylum down, but no one does it. This morning, we saw people here throwing rubbish into the gutter, right here. Well, from our side, we will not allow people to dump the rubbish. I know for some other areas they are allowed, but not where I live. For those who cannot afford refuse disposal, they burn it. We don't need to wait for someone to tell us what to do. I am hurt from what I saw as a result of the June 3 disaster, and we should learn from it. We need to be cautious because June will come once again, and if we don't take care, a repeat will happen. We are contracting malaria from the filth, and the children are the worst affected. It's all because of filth. Government should please help us out by either spraying our rooms from time to time or clear the drain of the garbage.
And as you can guess, the blame game has already started.
No, it's not them.
Are you sure?
It's from some place.
Because I just saw people this morning throwing rubbish into the gutter.
You sure?
Yes.
I don't know that.
And this is not just today. I've been here a number of times just to observe. And it happens.
Then if you do it, you can know about that one. But I can't feel come out early morning to come and watch them. But you, it's your work. You survey, you see them.
But those of you here, do you also put rubbish in this gutter?
No, God forbid.
Are you sure?
Me? I can't do it.
I'm saying to you that why are people like you in this area constantly putting rubbish in this gutter? Why?
Do you know that something like, say, me, I'm from some place to came here, but even Nigeria, they feel do something like, say, they will do better thing. They get something like environmental. If I'm sitting here, if you then come as a council, if I sit here, then if you catch me, say, I know do the work.
So because that's not happening, you will still put rubbish in the gutter?
It's not me.
Everybody is saying it's not me. So who is it?
Only God knows.
I saw people dumping it.
Say somebody there will put baller, but the baller is from the top. Where they come?
You don't say from somewhere they come. Why? When will people like you take responsibility for the things you do?
And they are depending with the paying for, like the assemblyman or what do you call them? The assemblyman we do here. We must take care for that thing.
As you can imagine, the blame game has already started. No one is ready to take responsibility for who is putting the garbage in this drain here at Nima.
In response to how city authorities are ensuring the dumping of solid waste into drains are curbed, Public Relations Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly says managing sanitation is a shared responsibility. He explained that until citizens take initiative and start arresting perpetrators of these crimes, the problem would continue to persist.
Everywhere. But what I'm saying is that there are people living in that community. In fact, you go to other jurisdictions, the police are also not everywhere. But when something happens, there will be somebody, in that community to call the attention of the authorities or the relevant authorities that, hey, somebody is doing this here or there, and something is done about it. But look at the situation where things happen. We all live in the community. We see the people dumping the refuse, and we look unconcerned. Then we turn around and blame somebody who is not there. I mean, how can we be living in such a world? We have sanitation courts. But what I am saying is that if the person dumping the refuse into the drain is not caught, or nobody reports that person with evidence.
Now, over 200 hectares of orange farms in the Kwapim North municipality of the Eastern region have been destroyed following a 5-month drought. There are over 40 citrus farmers in the Konko community who have been affected say they are at the brink of financial ruin following the disastrous season. Haruna Isifumpini visited the community and reports the farmers are appealing for soft loans to rebuild their lives.
Brown trees, brown leaves and brown fruits. That is the lost harvest for citrus farmers of Konko community. Over 200 hectares of orange and oil palm trees will bring no money for the dozens of families in this farming community. Most of the farmers took loans from the banks to support them in anticipation of their biennial harvest. But there has been no rain here for 5 months. Joseph Eduteria, a farmer, says they feel they are living on borrowed time.
The severity of the drought has caused this thing. And almost this, we've lost all these fruits. You know, that is, as farmers, that is what we use for our living. You know, for me, for instance, I have about 32 acres of this thing. Everything is gone. So what we are appealing to governments, through maybe the Ministry of Agriculture, to do is to try and come to our aid to help us replant some of these the farms that we've lost. You know, this thing you see here, we have 110 trees per acre. We have something called box if we are selling it, and the box is about 2 tons of orange. One box is about 10 million. Now, that is 1,000 Ghana cedis now. And so 1 acre gives you more than 10 tons, more than 10 boxes. And so you can imagine 1 acre gives you about 1,000, 10,000 cedis, Ghana cedis. And so somebody like me who has about 32 acres, you can imagine what I'm losing for this year. So we will appeal to government to come to our aid.
Chairman of the Kwapim North Citrus Farmers Association, Stephen Ajiman, says the current situation could worsen the unemployment situation in the district and needs urgent attention. He says they are not sitting on their laurels. Barely a week ago, an expert from the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority was in the area to assess the situation.
We must not pray with the climate change. It's a reality. It's here with us now in present. What I could have done is to have irrigation. Last week, I brought Ghana Irrigation Development Authority to come and survey. When they survey, they said, yes, we have a stream. They can block the stream, then we can get a pump to pump the water. But the cost of 1 hectare of drip irrigation is 6,000 Ghana cedis. It's a lot. And this will need a help from the government. It should not be a dash, but they should give a soft loan, which will be paid between 5 and 10 years. Then all these farms that you are seeing with these oranges being destroyed by the drought will get the fruits on the market. Our people will enjoy the fruit, they will get the vitamin C, our children will get the vitamin C, and we will get money to care for ourselves, to our families.
Up next, we bring you entertainment with Ms. G. Right, Ms. G has joined me with entertainment. Good evening to Ms. G.
Good evening, Israel. How are you doing?
I'm good.
These days, you're more into the combination business, I see.
Well, you're into combination because your hair, the color of your hair matches with the color of your dress.
I know you're going to say that. Okay, so, but I see that. Anyway,
So you're looking good. That's all I intended to say.
You're looking good too.
Thank you.
And you know, I keep on getting, people asking me on Facebook that they want your contacts. And
no, you can follow me on Twitter as at AMNZGWE. Instagram is the same name. My Facebook, I don't know, but Instagram and Twitter is okay.
Okay, so now you know she's told you herself, so you can follow up and ask her other questions. And,
yeah, ask me anything you want to ask me. Just make it private, then we can have a conversation.
All right, let's talk about what's in
okay, so you know the man D Money. He had a song with D Black back in the day, and then they had issues back and forth. D Money said that D Black has taken his money. D Black said D Money doesn't respect, and he went into hiding. He was a young guy then. He's still young though. But Becky has been hanging out with him. She went to his home and he's been talking about music, life, and you know what he says? He says, Ghanaian musicians do not get paid well.
It's true.
Well, I started militant mines after I left Black Island, which is just I have no words can fit how successful it's been after D Black and militant mines. I have people who actually tattoo militant mines on their skin, which I think is crazy, because I have no tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinks D Money has like tattoos. I have 0 tattoos. You know what I'm saying? But I think in Africa, Ghana has a lot of tremendous talent. You know what I'm saying? Musically, we have great actors. We have great, there's a whole bunch of, dope musicians out there in Ghana. So you can't say they're not up to par. You know what I'm saying? So far as the music can touch you, then it is, influential. But I just think it has to do with a lot of branding. I'm not too quick to just go on any platform to perform. It's not like I don't want to, reach my fans, because I'm actually, working on concert this year, maybe 5 if everything goes successful. So, I'm gonna
this year,
just what I'm saying,
concert.
guarantee this year.
Organized by you?
By Militant Mind General. Okay. But it's just the network value of it. If there are contests where I think, okay, listen, there's a good deal on it, I'll do it. That's what I'm saying. But
what do you mean by good deal?
Yeah, good deal as in, because I feel like the acts in Ghana are not being paid properly. And I've been doing this for a while now. I don't want to use the word declining shows, but I feel like if you get this huge amounts of money from sponsors or whatever to do a show like this, I don't want to mention platforms, but to do a show, you should be able to pay the artists, because without the artists there's no show.
Well, so yeah, I mean they don't get paid that much. Well, it depends on which artist you're talking about.
Exactly.
It depends on how influential you are.
True.
I'm sure Sarkodie and
won't say
the
same.
rest, yeah.
Shatta Wale wouldn't say this, so it depends, like you said, it depends on which artist you are and how much of an influence you have on society.
And if you're a foreign artist too, I mean, if you come down, you can get some 1 million, Chris Brown and things.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm sure you're wondering what the man Kwade has been. Kwade, we were told that he was mentally ill. He was.
I thought he had recovered and he was fine.
He was fine. And why is he not doing music?
Well, maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's living on the royalties of his old songs.
Okay, so he's ready now. He actually has an album out. He's been speaking to Graphic Online.
Singles? Yeah, I've got singles, and I'll be putting them on the screens like every month. We have a song from Friday, and then all I need to do is just have a heap of songs waiting, but I need to just shoot the video. Shoot the video and then put them on TV. So this time, that's the meaning of the quietness. I have a whole lot of Friday rooms.
So is it going to be like what we've always known, or is it an improvement of what we've always known?
Yeah, it's the same old Friday, but you have an improvement and you have a different side of Friday, the versatility, the style, the rap aspect, the dance style aspect, the singing aspect, the choruses and everything, just as before.
But I've always loved Kwade's songs.
A lot of us do, you know.
Some really great tracks.
He had great tracks, and I'm just
Kung
waiting.
Fu Kwade.
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
Is he still Kung Fu Kwade, or he's dropped the Kung Fu?
No, he's dropped the Kung Fu, now he's Kwade.
And I've seen he's lost his
yeah, so the Kung Fu is gone, and you have the Kwade. No, but I can't wait to hear from Kwade. I can't wait to hear songs from him.
Just hearing this this old song of his wants me to go back and look for them and play them. And
you can, because it's Thursday, actually.
Them. This is good. This is good.
Yes, and it's Thursday, so you can throw back, you know, get to enjoy things from old.
Yep.
All right, so yesterday I told you that Tiara was in Nigeria, and amazingly she took to the streets of Nigeria with Kafi's dancers.
And she was dancing.
And she was dancing to some Nigerian tunes.
All my ladies,
Right, so this is proper dancing.
Yeah.
Not the kind that you guys threaten me with. You tell me you can dance, you can dance, you can dance. You can't do it.
Okay, you mean not the kind that you did here, that was more like you had some karate section.
No. I'm talking about you dancing. Can you dance?
I can dance this.
This well?
Ah, don't dare me.
You can't, please. Let's leave. Let's move on.
At least you recognize that this is dancing and yours wasn't dancing, so that is enough. You agree? You agree?
I'm not going to debate you on that.
Okay, so that means you agree, you know.
No,
so, Katie Price is a television personality in the UK and also a model. And she said when she was younger, she had a son. His son is Harvey. He's old now. And she said back then, she was younger when she got pregnant. But if she knew that her son was going to be born with a disability, she would have aborted him. Well, it was taken out of context though, but she said now she can relate with people who actually have children with disability. Yeah. She didn't mean it that way. So she was speaking on Loose Women.
If I knew he was blind before I had him, as harsh as it sounds, I probably would have aborted him, because to me it's like, oh my God, it's blind, how would I cope?
And it was fear of the unknown, of
Well, of course,
yeah.
I know that sounds harsh, but now it's like, oh my God, no way. If I got pregnant again and they said your child's going to have disabilities or anything, I'll definitely keep it. I'd even adopt a child with disabilities. Until you're in that situation, you don't know.
Said that nicely, but people didn't understand her, and so people went on social media calling her all sorts of names. But she's asked that listen to the video properly. Yeah. You get to understand that I'm saying that now I can actually relate with people who have children with disability. And she says she loves her son Harvey. So that's it for Entertainment Israel.
Okay.
So the dance battle is coming on soon on the holiday, which is a Monday.
I don't know your fixation with the dances. It's not as if you're like a, some
it's
great
just
dancer.
That I'm better than you.
Yeah, you can be better than me. I mean, I won't argue that you can be better than me.
I'm hot,
but
you're not. I'm hot, you're not. So I'm hotter than you when it comes to dancing.
Okay.
I'm the winner. I'm the winner.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. G, for bringing us entertainment. Natanya. Sorry. Gary R. Smith is just standing right next to me. He'll be joining us for sports in a bit. Stay tuned. All right, so Gary has joined me, and Gary, I'm checking out your new suit. This is a new one. It looks like something you just brought from the UK.
Oh, no, please.
Oh, it looks like...
You were on leave before I left.
Okay.
Just before I left.
Yeah.
Yes, so you didn't see it.
Oh, okay, so it's been around.
Yeah,
but it looks really
it's new
good.
to you. Thank you.
It looks really good.
Yeah, not as fine as yours, though.
Oh, come on. Give us a spot, please.
All right. So thank you, Israel, and welcome to the Sport on Prime. Hello, I'm Gary R. Smith. Today, we have FIFA rankings fair. Also, Kwabena Eboa tells us why Cape Verde are top
of the African charts, and we talk about Avram Grant. He's now coming back to Ghana after being ordered. Michael Otiaje says that if he continues like this, he should really be sacked. This and more here on The Sport. First of all, Ghana has dropped 8 places in the latest FIFA rankings that were released earlier today. Now, the Black Stars are now ranked 41st, down from 33rd. And some of you will be wondering why this has happened, considering, and you will be right in thinking that Ghana has not played any matches in January and February. However, that's what it is.
It may not surprise you at all. Ever since they took football very seriously on the African terrain, what they have done is to invite all their players in the diaspora. And many people don't know is that Cape Verde is a country of less than 1 million, but what they do is that they go to Portugal to invite all players who have even very remote routes to the island. So if you study their players, for instance, you find a number of them playing for the Portuguese sides. I mean, teams like Nacional Funchal, Aruca, Estoril, Rio Ave, and then a few of them play for Nottingham Forest. 1 or 2 of them play for Sparta, Moscow, Steel Bucharest. So almost all their players are picked from Europe. And although they play for not many fashionable sides, what is important is that these are players who are playing week after week after week. Unfortunately, unlike some of the African teams whose players are linked to high-profile teams, but in most cases are warming the benches, you know. So I think that if you've been following the fortunes of Cape Verde very, very closely, it will not come to you as a surprise at all. If you
International football action played last month, the latest edition of the FIFA Coca-Cola World Rankings contains few changes to the top 50, with most of the teams yet to play in 2016. Belgium continues to dominate top spot, followed closely by Argentina, Spain, Germany and Chile. In fact, the only change inside the top 20 sees 4-time world champions Italy move up 1 place to 14. As for the continental rankings, there was no change in the top 4, the CAF standings, with the Cape Verde Islands leading the way from Cote d'Ivoire, Algeria and Ghana. Senegal has lost 5th place to Tunisia, while Sheikhs Mashaba's Bafana Bafana are now 14th on the continent and are up to 70th in the world.
If Ghana is to improve its FIFA rankings in the next one, it means then that the 2 matches that are going to be played against Mozambique in the the 2017 African Cup of Nations qualifiers must be won. However, the coach who will be doing that is Avram Grant. He's not been around for a while. He took a leave and he has overstayed. And as you've been hearing on all our programs, the Ghana Football Association have taken a dim view of his consistent vacationing outside the allotted time. Earlier today, I spoke to the BBC and TV3's Michael Otiaje about the issue. And first, I asked him who pays for Avram Grant's trips to Europe.
I don't know whether if you travel without authorization, somebody has to pay for it, but I do know that in the strict sense of it, your monitoring must be paid for by the Football Association. So when Kwesi Appiah went to see KP Boateng and the rest as part of trying to convince them to play for Ghana, it was a Ghana Football Association mission, and the Ghana Football Association needed to be the ones that were paying for it. I'm not sure the specific case in Grant's instance.
Michael,
and the thing about...
Sorry, just to cut you, we are wrapping up. Quick question. Now, we established that there's tension. We knew from a couple of months ago that this was brewing. But going forward, what does it look like? Ghana has a double-header with Mozambique. The next couple of weeks will be played, one here in Accra. The next one will be played down south. But afterwards, what does it look like? What would you expect the GFA to do as well, quickly?
I would expect them to put their foot down to insist to him that he stays. I think that if this thing goes on, it could become a sackable issue. And
Good.
When I look at the way it's going, that's where it probably could end.
Speaking to me earlier on the polls. Now, if Avram Grant were in town, and the major reason why the GFA wants him here is because the Ghana Premier League has started, and really, if you've been following it, it's been pretty exciting. One player who has been doing well for Hearts of Oak, even as they've won 2 matches out of 2, is Cosmas Dauda. The interesting thing about the young man is that he wasn't bought for a lot of money. He was actually taken on a justify your inclusion, and he's delighted at scoring his first goal for Hearts. this Sunday.
So much joy in me scoring for my team, and more especially against a team we had a bad record against for the past how many years. It's been a long time, but the feeling was of great joy. It's a thing of joy to me, and yeah, that's how I feel. I feel joyous inside of me. It's every player's dream to come out as the best, but for me, I'm focused. I don't want to put unnecessary pressure on myself. I'm taking every game at a time, and I believe I'm positive. The first goal, it's an open door for another one. I'll take every match at a time slowly, no pressure. I'm playing with more experienced players, and it's good for my learning. It's good for my confidence.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Football Association are saying that they are still looking for a title sponsor for the ongoing Premier League. You will recall that last season it was called the First Capital Plus Premier League, but those sponsors, the First Capital Plus Bank, which has since rebranded, said that they were unhappy about a couple of things, and so right now the league is sponsorless. Here's Ibrahim Sanidara.
As to Capital Bank, our lawyers are dealing with them, want to find a way out. So that is for the lawyers to sort out. But that apart, we are chasing sponsorship. We want to find a headline sponsor for the league. We already have a sponsor for the league in terms of television, that is SuperSport. So we are looking for other avenues, and the interest with the way the matches are being shown on television day afternoon, since yesterday up till now, I've counted more than 12 times that the match between Hearts of Oak and Mediama has been shown on SuperSport. And the platform offered nothing in this country can offer what the Ghana Premier League is offering.
Away from Ghana, we go over to England, and we are just about 99 to 98 days to the start of the Euro 2016 tournament, Europe's flagship national team competition. England always there and thereabouts. This year, it's looking like they're going to be having a tough time if Wayne Rooney, Jack Wilshere, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain do not recover on time before the tournament, which begins on the 10th of June.
When it happened, I spoke to Wayne, and of course our club doctor speaks to their club doctor, and we were told it was probably going to take 6 weeks. You know, at the very, very worst, it could go a week or two more, which would take him, I suppose, really into the first week or so of April. I believe Alex has had almost exactly the same injury, although his comes a couple of weeks later. In terms of the March fixtures, we're going to be missing one or two players. We're still monitoring Luke Shaw. I know he's making good progress. We're monitoring Jack Wilshere, who's making very good progress. But I'll have to accept that for these games in March, I won't have those players. But hopefully by May, when I really have to make a decision, they'll be available for selection. I don't know whether we can put a positive spin on it by saying, well, it'll make him fresh. I'm not certain that's the case. The most important thing is that the players that I select in May are all absolutely 100% fully fit and fully ready to go, and that I'm not forced into a situation where I have to make that very, very difficult decision. Do I take a player who's not 100% fit at the moment but could be in 2 or 3 weeks' time?
Away from national team football, let's go to La Liga, and Barcelona could make history if they maintain their unbeaten run. They are currently playing Rayo Vallecano away, and as you can see, this is the Joy Sports Twitter page at Joy Sports. You can just check it out and see our live tweets of the game. In the 24th minute, Messi scored from a Neymar assist, and it was Barcelona's second goal. Ivan Rakitic got the opener for Barcelona. So head over to @JoySportsGH on Twitter. The hashtag is JoySports, and get live updates of this game. We'll be back with more sports, and after this game as well, head over to myjoyonline.com/sport, where you can get the match reports and more. My name is Gary Al Smith. Bye-bye.